Right, so we're going to take a closer look at perimeter. But before we do that, let us remember how to add and subtract radicals. In order to be successful in this unit, we do have to revisit our radical unit. So let's revisit how to add and subtract these radicals. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite in the question into our calculator. Because remember, as long as we keep our matching with all of our work, we know that we are correct. So first, we're going to type it in here. All right, so that is my question. And as long as my work matches this question, I know that I'm okay. All right, so let's do a quick reminder. All right, what is 3x plus 5x? Now, because the x's are the same, I can ask that as what is 3 apples plus 5 apples? And you should be able to tell me that it's what? 8 apples. Or in this case, because I'm using x, you should be able to say that it's 8x. So 3x plus 5x is 8x. Okay, what about 3y plus 5x? So again, let me give you that in terms of fruits. Let's say I have 3 oranges plus 5 oranges. What does that give me? Well, you're not going to tell me that it gives you apple oranges, right? You're going to say I have 3 oranges and 5 apples. I forgot what it was. All right, so this does not combine because the variables are different. So I cannot combine the coefficients because the variables are different. So this simplifies to the same thing. Okay, so 3y plus 5x. I cannot combine them. So that is the big idea when it comes to adding and subtracting radicals. Before you can add or subtract them, okay, the radicals or the variable, they must be the same. All right, so you can only add or subtract radicals if they have the same radicand. The radicand is the number inside the radical. Sometimes simplifying them will make them the same. So let's take a look at that question. Okay, so right now I have a radical 3 and a radical 48. They are not the same. So can I combine them? No. I have to make them the same. And according to the notes, it says sometimes when you simplify them, it does make it the same. So I'll start with the first one. Can I simplify 3? No. So I'll start with the second one. Can I simplify 48? All right, so I'm going to start with 48. First, actually, I'm going to copy the question down so that can be my check. I'm going to start with 48, and I'm going to start dividing by 2. That worked. So I'm going to go 24 divided by 2. That worked. And of course, if you know multiplication facts, you get to the answer a lot faster, but I'm going to make sure I teach to everybody. That worked. Now I'm at 6. That worked. Can I simplify 3? No. So I am going to replace 48 with 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay. So let me write this in my notes. I did divided by 2, and I got right here 24. I divided that by 2, and I got right here 12. I divided that by 2, and I got 6. I divided that by 2, and I got 3. Okay, so this is where I'm at right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4 2s times 3 is 48. So we're going to put that in here and make sure that it matches. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 2s, and a 3. Does it match? It does, because I still have the same answer. So I've broken that down correctly. So I'm going to get rid of my broken down. All right, now that I've done that, let me go ahead and take out books. What do you see? I see 1 book of 2. So let me go ahead and write my notes real quick. So I'm going to copy this down. Negative radical 3 minus 10. I'm going to leave a space. Then I'm going to say 48 breaks down to 2 times 2. And you can write in this on this side of the page as well. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. All right, so now is where I'm taking out my books, right? So 2 cards make what? 1 book. So 2 cards makes 1 book outside, so times 2. Okay, still matching, so I'm okay. So 2 cards make 1 book. All right, do you see any more cards? I do right here. 2 cards make what? 1 book. Still matching, so I'm still okay. So 2 cards make 1 book. All right, any more cards that I can take out? No. So now I have this section right here. And I can take this whole thing and just replace that whole thing, which is going to be negative 40. All right. Or I can just leave the negative and do 10 times 2 is 20 times 2 is 40. It doesn't matter. Boom. Did it change? No. So I'm still good. So now I'm going to write that down in my notes so that I have something to reference because I'm going to forget. So now I have 40 radical 3. Now, what can you tell me about the radicand? Again, the number underneath the radical. It is the same. So I can only add or subtract after it's the same. So this question becomes negative x minus 40x, okay? Because you're not used to seeing in radicals, what I'm trying to say to you is because they're the same, you can just go ahead and do it. So what is negative x? What is another way of saying I have one apple? I can say, sorry, another way of saying I have an apple, I can say I have one apple. All right, so it's negative 1 minus 40, which is going to give me negative 41. So this is negative, oops, negative 41 radical 3, okay? So you're adding the coefficients, and I'm going to go ahead and put this invisible one here so that you can see it. All right, there's an invisible there, and you just leave the radical exactly the same. So you go ahead and take care of the coefficients, leave the radical the same. So that's how you add and subtract radicals. You're going to pause the video right here and go ahead and complete example 4. Let's practice.